everyone has been doing these all decade lists recently, right? Um, from all of these podcasts, they're doing these all decade lists, right? These top 10 lists for the decade. And I think it's a great idea, right? I think it's a great idea, but I want us to do it a little bit differently, right? So this is how I want us to do this, right? We could just start throwing names out there. I have a couple of names that I've already, looked through and whatnot. But let's be responsible, right? Maybe I should pull up a Word document or something. Maybe here, I'll pull up a Word document. I got you. Um, let's be responsible, right? And let's create a criteria, right? What is our criteria in ranking these players? And instead of a top 10, let's do a top 12, and we'll talk about why a little bit later. But so let's do a all decade ranking, right? So 2000s. And so let's define what that is. And the way a decade in the NBA has always been defined, right? Because it goes in between 2 years. The decade for the 2000s is 1999 to 2000 would be the first, to the 2008 2009 through the 2008 2009 season, right? So 1998 1999 to 2000, and through the 2008 2009 seasons, right? So that is our first parameter, right? So that is what we will define as a decade. The 1999 2000 season through the 2008 2009 season. So any accolades, any stats, any championships, awards, anything that'll count for the decade, we will only count from those seasons, right? 1999 2000 through the 2008 2009 season. So if a player gets a championship in 2009 2010, unfortunately that will not count, right? And obviously any year after that, and obviously years before. Right? So rookie of the year, if it's before, 1999 2000, it will not count, right? It will not count. So I think that is the first priority, right? Is to clearly identify the year. What do you guys think the first criteria should be? Um, do you guys want to do like accolades? Do you want to do we specify what accolades? Do we want to do championships, stats, eye tests? Like, how do you guys want to do these rankings? I think for me personally, right? Me personally, because we're talking about a ranking, right? Because we're talking about ranking, I would personally then value individual accolades a little bit more, because we have to rank these players against each other. So when I talk about individual accolades that I'll rank very highly, it'll be MVPs, all NBA teams, right? Because those are all the best players in the league, right? All-star games, defensive player of the years, right? Those would be scoring titles, assist titles, steals titles, rebounds titles. Those would be the things that I would value I mean, I think probably a championship I'd value over like a all defensive team. Defensive teams I think I would probably value under um championships, right? Finals MVPs will also count in those individual accolades. So that would be number one for me. Those championships, all NBA, all defensive teams. I think all defensive teams kind of go with like, I mean, I guess all stars would be considered the best players in the league also. So to me, it would rank higher than an all defensive team in terms of value. Um, okay, so there's that. The eye test, I think, all is also important. I think the eye test, also encompasses someone's skill, right? How skilled someone is, talent, all of those things. Um, so let's write that down. Here, let's do this together, right? Let's do this together. Let's do this together, right? Criteria. Individual accolades, and I will list them out as well too. Individual accolades, MVP, all NBA teams. Actually, all NBA team. Why? I'll just say stat titles. All-Star game. Is there anything else that I'm missing? All-Star games. All-Star games. Second would be the championships, I guess, slash maybe team success. Three, I'll put all defensive teams. I don't really think stats really matter all that much. I guess we should. I'll put an asterisk on this. But I think we should stats. And then eye test, skill, talent, skill, talent. This is just bothering me that I didn't capitalize it. So what do you guys think of this for as of right now for the start of our little criteria to create an all decade ranking, right? So we have our parameters: 1999 2000 season through the 2008 2009 season. Any accolades, awards, championships, stats we only consider those years, right, to do these rankings, to do this ranking. Our criteria, we value at least as of right now, we're gonna value MVPs, individual accolades, the most, right? Because this is a ranking, right? Players against each other. MVPs, Finals MVPs, All NBA teams, Defensive Player of the Years. Statistic titles like scoring titles, assists, steals, rebounds, blocks, all of those. All-Star game MVPs and All-Star games. followed by championships slash team success, followed by all defensive teams, statistics, which we'll see how we'll weigh that. I don't know. We'll figure that part out, because I think some of that is already in, factored in the statistic titles. But and then we also have the eye test, the skill, the talent, right? Um, if we're being honest, this probably helps out guards and wings a lot more because they have offensively, they're able to show a little bit more than that. But we'll see how this breaks down. So, how do you guys feel about that criteria so far, right? So far. Let's throw out a couple of, obviously some names out there. Kobe Bryant. Let's see. Kobe, Shaq. Kevin Garnett. I'm just throwing out names out there and then we'll go through them. Kevin Garnett, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Allen Iverson, I'm trying to think. Tracy McGrady. This will probably put the capital G. Yep. T-Mac, Vince Carter. It's funny because when it comes to all decade teams, because they're a thing, right? When it comes to all decade teams, when you are drafted in the middle of a decade, it's very possible that you have an extremely hard time, or not even possible, you have an extremely hard time getting into that all decade team because you have guys that ideally you enter towards the end of a decade. So then your prime years, right? Let's say 3 years before the next decade starts, then you get to be 10 years into your prime, pretty much, right? Through that whole decade, you get to put up your numbers, your stats, get your accolades, and all of that good stuff. But when you enter in the middle, sometimes you could potentially put yourself in a spot where you don't make it in either of the decades that you play in, right? Even if you have a 12-13 year career, depending on how that works out for you. But it's something to, I think it's just always something to consider when having some of these conversations. When you are born can factor into some of these, right? When you are born can absolutely help or hurt some of these conversations. Like take Michael Jordan for example, right? 1984 draft, right? 84, 85, 85, 86, 86, 87, 87, 88, right? 88, 89. So all of those years. Here, let's take a look at Michael Jordan. What the hell? Wait, what the hell? Let's do this. So if you look at Michael Jordan's career, right? 84, 85. Because our parameters is what? 99, 2000, right? So all of these years right here, Yeah, so all of these years right here, 21 to 25, he got to really just go crazy and hone all of his skills. And then, 90 to 98 was just dominating. Um, was just dominating through those years. This is one, two, three, four, five. Like Michael Jordan, I mean, I guess he could end up being in the all decade team because he was going fucking berserk. But at the same time, it's possible he gets left off because you have other players who are in their prime in those previous 5 years and continue to be in their prime in the later half of that decade. So, things like that happen, right? Things like that happen. Some names we have. Let's just go through it again. Kobe Bryant, Shaq, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Paul Pierce. Am I missing any names? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Am I missing any other names? I'm really trying to think back right now. Are we missing any names from that time? I feel like this is it. I feel like this is why don't we do this? Why don't we ask let's do this. And as you can see, I've already, done a little bit of this before, but let's see. Let's do this. Actually, you know what? Let's add this. I don't know how they're gonna value the stats, but let's see if there's any names that they'd have over there that we may or may have. Oh, I forgot Dirk's name. Amari. Are we blasted? So these are their honorable mentions. Um Oh, I guess if you're considering Finals MVP heavily, then for sure you would. then if you consider the Finals MVP heavily, then I guess in this scenario, um, like look, if you put in this criteria, um, all right, so I asked if you factor in their stats through the decade higher than the eye test but lower than the defensive teams, would this list change? Um, Most of it is still the same, but LeBron James obviously climbs into these rankings. Paul Pierce gets edged out. Honestly, I actually like this list right here pretty much. I actually like this list. You know what I'm gonna do right now? I'm gonna copy this. Bam. Bam bam. Got it. And then let's do the updated one as well too. And these are just top 10s. We will adjust these rankings accordingly. What the fuck did I just do? Am I blasted? Oh, here. No. And then this is the one that has Braun 7th. I'll take a look at this because I actually think I would probably have Braun higher. But I think this is a good start to have. All right, cool. Bam, look at us. Look at us. Look at us getting somewhere. Look at us getting somewhere. And we'll obviously add the other two players, right? So, according to ChatGPT, their top 10 is Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, Shaq, Kevin Garnett, Dirk, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, Dwayne Wade, Jason Kidd, and Paul Pierce. When you average their, when you factor in their stats, right? Tim Duncan, Kobe, Shaq, Kevin Garnett, Dirk, Allen Iverson, LeBron, Steve Nash, Dwayne Wade, and Jason Kidd. Now, let's start right here, right? Let's start right here. Because they had Allen Iverson, 1 MVP, 4 scoring title, 3-time steals leader, 7-time All NBA player, 8-time All-Star Game MVP, 2009 Finals appearance. Let me see what they had for LeBron James, MVP in 2009, 5-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA player. Wow. By that, if we're going to do it by that metric, right, where we are valuing Allen Iverson scoring titles and steals titles, was a 7-time All-NBA player, more All-NBAs than LeBron, 8-time All-Star Game MVP. Yeah, by that metric, All NBA in final 5 years. Yeah. That was really close. Let's see here. Dirk Nowitzki. Let's see. So let's see. Shaq and Kevin Garnett. They both have an MVP. One has a Defensive Player of the Year, but Shaq has 3 Finals MVPs. Both 8 All NBA, 9 All Defense, 10 All Stars. Yeah, Shaq is ahead of him. Dirk. Let's see. Dirk and KG. Finals appearance, has an MVP. Kevin Garnett has a championship in this time. Dirk got him. I mean, KG got Dirk. By this metric, 7-time All-NBA, 8-time All-Star, has an All-Star Game MVP, also has a finals appearance like Dirk, also has an MVP, but he has 4 scoring titles and 3-time steals leader. So shouldn't Allen Iverson, by that metric, be above Dirk? What are their numbers in that time period? 23.9, 8.7, 48, 38, 88 splits. Allen Iverson, 27, 6.2, 2.2. Ooh, that's kind of nice. 27, 6.2, 2.2 steals a game? That's nice. That's nice. So then if we do Dirk, versus LeBron, 5-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA versus 7-time All-NBA, 8-time All-Stars, and both have an MVP. And I feel like the eye test for me would put LeBron over Dirk, though. All right, all right. Let's keep looking at these lists. Let's keep looking at these lists. All right, so right now, our point of contention right now is Dirk versus AI. Because both of their numbers look great. Both have the accolades. Allen Iverson just got more individual statistical titles during that stretch, which do mean something. Right. You could say what you want about the steals, but 2.2 steals is 2.2 steals. Right? If you expected 180-pound Allen Iverson to try to stay in front of just stay in front of people and just concede the difference in height, he would have been sitting there doing nothing. So by all of these metrics, I think Allen Iverson would probably actually go above Dirk, which would put Dirk sixth. And then if that's the case, Dirk or Braun, and even though Dirk has LeBron on like the All NBAs and the All-Star games, I think the eye test, LeBron goes over Dirk. And then when you do that, right? When you do that, with Steve Nash not on this, you get to Steve Nash, 2-time MVP, 7-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA. All of a sudden, like Dirk starts dropping. All of a sudden, Dirk starts to drop. Is he under Steve Nash? I mean, what Steve Nash did to that Phoenix Suns team was unbelievable. Then we get to a Dwayne Wade. Wow, Dirk is dropping. So currently, right? And we haven't Tim, Kobe, Shaq, KG, AI, Braun, Nash, Dirk. Is that what? And I gotta do. We gotta have a conversation about this. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dirk just dropped to 8. He went from 5th to 8th. I think Braun deserves to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 6th. You could argue LeBron should be a little bit lower, but I think 6th is a pretty good spot for him. Considering what he did from the 03-04 season, right? So he had a shortened decade compared to everyone else. The fact that him and Dwayne Wade are even on this list, they're in this conversation, I think says a lot. I wonder if Carmelo Anthony could end up in this conversation as well too. 2008, 9. 1, 2, 3 All NBA appearances for Melo. 1, 2, 2 All-Star games. 2 All-Star games? Am I blasted? Is that fake? Okay. I like this. I like where we're at so far. I just want to like handle the bottom part of the list, and then I think it'll be easier to talk about everything else. Jason Kidd, 5-time All NBA, 6-time All Defense, 9-time All Star, 5-time assist leader. Steve Nash was, how many times did Steve Nash win the assist title? Five-time assist champ. Jason Kidd was also a 5-time assist champ, but I think Steve Nash's assist champs came. Did they split the fucking decade? Is that what happened? Did they just half the decade? How come that's not on here? But both 5-time assist leaders, Steve Nash, Dirk. I think Jason Kidd goes right. Dwayne Wade has that Finals MVP, a scoring title, 5-time All NBA, 5-time All Star, 3-time All Defense, and a chip. Oh, this is so difficult. Jason Kidd carried the fuck out of that New Jersey Nets team to those 2 titles, man. I know he ended up not getting it, but that is for sure worth something. But that Dwayne Wade 06 was fucking crazy, man. Dirk, Wade, Kidd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my God. Are there any names on here that we are missing right now? All right, let's take a look at the honorable mentions from ChatGPT one more time. Honorable mention T-Mac. LeBron is already in there. Paul Pierce is also an honorable mention. Oh, he has the Finals MVP, 5-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA. That's worth something. Yao Ming, an honorable mention. What was Yao Ming's stats looking like, or what was his? How many All-NBA teams and stuff did Yao Ming make? 5-time All-Star, 8-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA player in 8 years. I mean, all of his All-NBAs came in that stretch. 8-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA player. All right. I think for me, and this is my shit. I think this is Mac and then Pierce. I think this is my 12. I think this is my top 12 all decade. Oh. Sorry, Tim. Listen. Tim should be the all decade. The 2000s, this should not even be. This is just all bias, right? Let's give these guys at the top their credit. Tim Duncan, who should be number 1, he's number 2. Should be number 1. 2-time 2 MVPs, 2002 and 2003, so he went back to back. 3 titles, 3 Finals MVPs. No, that can't be right. He swept this shit. See, that's why some of these are just not accurate. Hold on. 99, 2000 to 08, 09. Right? Yeah, he made all NBA 10 out of 10 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Made all NBA all 10 years. All defense, all 10 years, 10-time All-Star. He literally swept the entire decade, plus the MVPs, plus the championships, right? So he should be number one. Should be. My number one is the Bean. Kobe, Bean, Bryant. One MVP in this stretch, one finals MVP. See, like this gotta be 4 all NBA. Like, that's wrong. Like, that's gotta be wrong. That's gotta be wrong, right? All NBA every year. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. All NBA every year, right? All defense 9 out of those 10 years, right? Was an all-star in all of those years, right? So the only thing that he missed was one defensive team through that decade. Otherwise, he would have swept it like Tim Duncan. Obviously, Tim Duncan has one more MVP than him, 2 more finals MVPs than him at this point, through this stretch. But 3 chips to 4 for Kobe. Kobe obviously had that arc of, he started the decade as the sidekick to Shaquille O'Neal. All of that happened, had to push Shaq out because he needed to cement his legacy, and the only way to do that was to win without Shaq. Dealt with his problems off the court, put up stats like crazy, basically saying this is what I would have done if it wasn't for Shaq. Worked himself back to a title. So there is value to being at the top, falling and rising back up to the top, to me. And I think also, just when you do the eye test, when it comes to Kobe's scoring ability and just how he's able to do things and just his skill, Kobe's number one. Tim should be number one, but Kobe's number one to me. Tim is 2. Tulip plays was good, man. We're doing my all decade team, and I'm trying to be sort of like our conversation the other day with the W. I'm trying to be, I wrote out my criteria, right? I wrote out the criteria so we can have something to go off of, so you guys can actually critique some of the things that I have. But so far, this is what I got. Kobe, Tim. Let's go over Shaq's accolades through this time. Shaq through the decade, 1 MVP, 3 Finals MVPs, 8 All NBA. Actually, I feel like some of these have been hella inaccurate, so let me just look at it myself. 99, 2000 to 08, 09. So through this stretch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 All NBAs. 8 All NBAs. 1, 2, 3 All Defensive Teams. Was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-time All-Star. So, Shaq is obviously did what he did. But that's why he is, he's just a little bit behind Kobe. He obviously has the 3 finals MVPs, but you know, Kobe also has the scoring titles. He has more all-stars, more all defensive selections, more all NBA. He's just, as an individual, you know, especially after Shaq had left, Kobe was killing. Um, After Shaq, we have Kevin Garnett. Let's take a look at his accolades through that decade. An MVP, a defensive player of the year, 8-time All-Star, 9-time All-Defense, 10-time All-Star, and a champion. So, you know, Kevin Garnett was really that dude. And then as you could see from here, Dirk actually significantly dropped when I was going through it. After Kevin Garnett, I have Allen Iverson, right? Allen Iverson through that stretch, MVP, 4 scoring titles, 3 steals leaders, 7 All NBAs, 8 All Stars, All Star Game MVP. His 2001 Finals appearance where he took on the mighty Lakers by himself with that terrible Sixers squad. But you know, that Allen Iverson was unbelievable. Why is Tim over Kobe for you through the 2000s? So Tim is not over Kobe for me. I personally because of the eye test. So if you look at my criteria, right? I put an asterisk on stats because I think that the stats are already in these titles. But so the criteria, individual accolades like MVPs, finals MVPs, all NBA teams, defensive player of the years, statistical titles like scoring, rebounds, assists, steals, those are weighed heavily. All-Star game MVPs and All-Star games, followed by championships, followed by all defensive teams, and then the eye test. When you look at the accolades for Tim Duncan versus Kobe Bryant, right? Tim Duncan, this is wrong from ChatGPT, by the way, because Tim Duncan from the 1999-2000 through the 2008-2009 season, those are our parameters. Tim Duncan swept the entire decade, right? This is wrong here. I'll pull it up over here for you guys so you can see it. But he swept this decade. 10 All-Stars, 10 All-NBA teams, 10 All-Defensive teams. He swept all 3 of them, compared to Kobe, who missed 1 All-Defensive team. Let's double check right here. Through this stretch, right here, Kobe missed an All-Defensive team selection. And then in that same stretch as well too, Tim Duncan had the 1 MVP to the 2 MVPs to Kobe's 1 MVP, right? So, based on those accolades, I believe that Tim Duncan should be above Kobe Bryant. But when I do the eye test and when the bias kicks in, if we're being honest, Kobe to me is over Tim. Right? Although I would not be mad if someone has Tim Duncan over Kobe Bryant in that decade, because the sustained success that Tim Duncan had, some people value that. I personally value Kobe going through the first championships with Shaq, that turmoil with the team, killing the whole league, and then having to come back to the top. I value that for me personally. That's why Kobe goes on top. But if you look at just, you know, the stats, the accolades, the output through that decade with no bias, Tim Duncan should be above Kobe Bryant if we're being real. Tim gets the dynasty tax from me. He never played with scrubs his whole career. In that decade, he won 3 chips to Kobe's 4-2. No, I understand that, but that's also not Tim's fault, right? His production didn't suffer from being around great players, right? So if you think about all of those things, technically Tim should be above. But when the bias kicks in, the eye test, right? And the eye test really is unfair for guards compared to bigs, because the guards, they get to have the flashy plays that we all love. So let's be honest, that kind of, in scenarios, especially in this one, puts Kobe over Tim. But it's really close. Like it's super super close. And then we have Tim. Shaq comes after that. KG, AI, Bron, Nash. And really, you could have Nash above these guys in my opinion, above Bron. In my opinion, I think Bron could be lower, right? Bron could be like 7, 8, 9, 10, realistically, because he came in the middle of the of the decade, right? Um, Nash, Dirk, and then we have Wade, Kidd, T Mac, Pierce would be my top 12 for the decade. And again, the decade is from the 1999-2000 season through the 2008-2009 season. Why Nash over Wade? Playoffs matter. Well, because playoffs matter for sure. But in 2 seasons, those 2 MVPs are cool. I understand that Tulip plays, but for me personally, I can't discount you being called the MVP over 82 games. Right? To me, those matter. Like if Wade had 1 MVP to Steve Nash's 2 MVPs, I think that puts him over Steve Nash. But I don't think you could discount 2 MVPs in a league that had, regardless of how you feel about it, he still got it in a league that had Kobe, Shaq, Garnett, LeBron, Dirk. Like look at all of these names, and he was able to get 2 MVPs in the middle of that. If we look at the Phoenix Suns, right? If we look at the Phoenix Suns, when did he? So he literally, the year he joined, he was MVP, right? 62-20. They were 29-53. 29-53. To 62-20. And then the other part in it too, right? Was it here? I believe. He also had, what the fuck just happened? 99-2000. I feel like I'm having a fucking. He also had 3 assist titles in this stretch. 3 assist titles in this stretch. To 1 scoring title for Dwayne Wade. 1 scoring title for Dwayne Wade. More all NBA selections, more all-star games. That's just that's just how, what I think personally. Here, we could pull up Dwayne Wade stats too. 8 to 9 to 8-9, right? So over this stretch, he got All-Star game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 All-Star games to 1, 2, 3, 4 All-NBA teams, and 2 All-Defensive teams. 2 MVPs are cool. Plus Wade stats are way better. He carried his team to a chip. was 10 times the defender to, I mean, he also had, Shaq on that team. Let's just call that what it is. Shaq obviously wasn't 2000 Shaq, right? 99 2000 Shaq, but Shaq at that point was still, you know, he was still forcing people to play him and defend him, right? And it freed up Dwayne Wade to slash and cut the way that he did. Um, Wade was that guy for sure, but like I said, like I was talking about earlier, when you come into the middle of a decade and you're just not able to put up as much, one, two, three, four, five, six All NBA teams, one, two, three, four, five, six All Star teams, two MVPs with 3 assist championships. That was a Shaq a year after they went, like he was just in the finals the year before. He was definitely declining, and he definitely carried Shaq, right? I'm not saying he didn't, but but that was just, that was just the fact of it. I weigh, and the reason I weigh the MVP very heavily is that's against the entire field. Right? When you have a statistical title, that's against the entire field. Right? That's against the entire league. His rival was Kobe for his position though. Wait, what? Nash had no point guard comp close. What do you mean? Jason Kidd, Chris Paul had come in. There were definitely some point guard comps. Gilbert Arenas was starting the scoring point guard trend. Kobe wasn't even like in terms of like all NBAs, right? You could still fight for 2-3, right? And like I said, that when you are a player, unfortunately, when you're born, can help or hurt you in some of these convos, right? Fuck, my dog's here. No. I'm not saying Kid is in the same tier to Kobe. But you're saying, wait, hold on. What do you mean by the comp? I'm confused what you mean by that. There was definitely a competition between point guards. That's what I was trying to say. Right? It wasn't like there was a competition between who the best point guard was, right? There was real competition in that time. I'm confused as to what you're saying. Yeah, for all NBA, yeah, they're not Kobe, but you still had Jason Kidd, Chris Paul at that. Like you were competing for some real great point guards still. Like Jason Kidd is not chump in terms of point guards, and Jason Kidd is still an all-time great. But let me see. So here, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Where do you think? So where do you think Wade? Where do you think Wade should? You think Wade should be above Dirk, or above Nash? Do you think Nash shouldn't be above Dirk? I think these are good conversations. I think these are good convos. I like this 6. I don't know about you, but I like this 6 right here. I like this 6 personally. I like this 6. I think the bottom 6 definitely could be debated for sure. Could Wade go up higher? Let me see. Also, like I think sometimes we just look at 9.2 assists and just like Wade above both. Dirk in that time. one MVP, 7 All NBA, 8 All Stars to Steve Nash's 2 MVPs, 7 All Stars, 6 All NBAs. Wade, Nash, Dirk. Dirk didn't even win the chip that decade. He was still seen as soft. I mean, but he still got an MVP. Went to the finals. Was a 7-time All NBA player and an 8-time All Star. Still, right. Like I said, I just want us to be able to talk about things that we could actually measure. And Nash, Wade. Let me try to picture this. Listen. And by the way, too, I want this to be clear, right? I want this to listen. I want you to hear me clear this. I want this to be clear. Dwayne Wade is a better basketball player than Steve Nash. I'm not don't get me wrong, right? I would take Dwayne Wade over Steve Nash. But when we're ranking, their accolades and stuff are a part of it. I just don't think you could discount the MVPs. Here, let me see. Where should we move? So do you think at least Wade should be above Dirk, maybe? Do we move Wade for Dirk? Do we put Wade? Do we at least do this? Do we at least do this? What you think? Does this look a little bit better? I feel like this is really a toss up. I do like this convo between Nash and Wade because Wade cooked Dirk in the finals. I guess you have an MVP to a finals MVP, right? I guess that in a way kind of cancels itself out. And then, the lack of if you compare all NBA selections, Wade had almost the same amount, but also had the all defensive selections, right? So I actually like that. Like I said, I do value Nash's MVP a lot. And then I guess you get Wade's defense, and obviously Nash was never a defender, but you have all of these assist titles still. That I think this is a toss up. I think this is very close. What do we think about Dirk, Kid? Is there any other names that we could think of that could potentially be on this list? What was an Amari Stoudemire? What were his numbers looking like? He also came in 02, 03. A lot of injury years for Amari, though, in some of these. Also, Wade only came in 2004, or he'd have more selection. Yeah, but that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about, right? Like LeBron. Obviously, we know what LeBron turned into. Had LeBron came in the year 99, 2000, or 2000, 2001, he would probably be near the top of this all-decade list, right? Yeah, I'm trying to think of some more names. Ray Allen. See what his numbers is looking like. I do think the top 10. We can look at it again right here. Kobe, Tim, Shaq, KG, AI, Bron, Nash, Wade, Dirk, Kid is a great top 10 for me. And then I think you follow that up. You get with Tracy McGrady and a Paul Pierce. Um, just because through those, you know, through the all NBAs, the scoring titles that T-Mac had compared to Paul Pierce, in my opinion. And then obviously what bridges the gap between all of those is the finals MVP that Paul Pierce has, right? Let's take a look at this actually. And I want to look at T-Mac's numbers as well too and his accolades. Dog, what is the big ass fucking 99 2000 08 09? So he had his finals MVP over here. 1 2 3 4 all NBA selections. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 all-stars. Compared to 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 all NBA selections. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 all-stars. 2 scoring titles in that stretch as well too. I didn't even know he had a most improved, but a most improved in that time. And then obviously Paul Pierce's finals MVP. Dwight Howard is a great honorable mention. That's a great pull. That's a great pull. That's a great name you just pulled out. Dwight Howard is a great honorable mention as well. Let's look up his numbers. And I'll pull up. Here, I'm pulling up race stats right now. I'm pulling up race stats right now. What I wanted to do differently, because I've seen people doing these rankings. I wanted us to be able to look through these together, right? I wanted us to be able to have the conversation and to actually look through these things together, because I think there is a ton of value in that. Let's look at this stretch for 08, 09. Let's look at this stretch for Ray Allen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 all-stars in this stretch. 1, 2 all NBA selections. Compared to Paul Pierce in this time, 1, 2, 3 all NBA selections. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 all NBA selections. And then obviously has the finals MVP with Ray Allen over on the same team. So I think the all NBA selections plus the finals MVP to me is what would push Paul Pierce above Ray Allen. And then I want to take a look at Dwight Howard in this stretch. See, this is not even fair. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons for him. In this stretch, he has a defensive player of the year. 1, 2, 3 all NBAs, 2 all defensive teams, 3 all stars. I mean, in a 5-year span, that's a lot to do in a short span. In a short span. How many rebounding titles does he have? 2-time, was that during this stretch? 1 block title, 2 rebounding titles in this stretch. I mean, he was just he was everything. He was everything. Honorable mention, but I think unfortunately just a little bit in terms of this stretch, I think he just falls a little bit short. I think he just falls a little bit short in this stretch in terms of sustained dominance over a long period of time. I would personally give it to Mac and Paul Pierce. And again, like I said over here, right? All NBA teams selections to me, those are 3 teams, 5 players on each team, right? So an all NBA team are the best 15 players in the league. It's even harder to get into than an all-star game, which is also voting, right? Like fan voting is a part of that. Yeah, too late for the decade. Yeah, like it's that's one of those unfortunate things where you might not make it because of that. Let's take a look. Actually, let's take a look at. I'm curious as to where Chris Paul's like what his stats would look like, because he came in 05, 06, right? So that's 4 years during that stretch. Two all NBAs, two all defensive teams, two all stars, like, and a rookie of the year through those 4 years. So he obviously doesn't make the decade. Let's see if he might make the following year. 18, 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all defense, all NBAs, 7 all defensive teams. If we look at it, he probably makes this. How many steals championships did this fool have? 6 steals. like these numbers are insane. Like these numbers are insane. But you see, he misses the cut. When he could have probably made it. Where's the Dwight Howard one? Let's see if he makes the following cut. 9, 10 to 18, 19. See, like from 2014, 15, once those Houston days kicked in, Dwight Howard was just he was not himself at all. So it's weird times. But again, I'm pretty comfortable with this being the top 12 players of the 2000s. Again, Kobe Bryant number 1. Here, let's put the numbers here. Yeah, I was thinking about Yao Ming too. Honorable mention. He was just too hurt, and yeah, and it's just some of the accolades just didn't line up, unfortunately. But I will tell you guys in just 1 second what we are doing with these. Steve Nash, Dwayne Wade, Dirk, uh, Jason Kidd, and Paul. I'm actually pretty comfortable with this with this all right, so these are our top 12 players from the 2000s.